Hey Lyra, a little bit of a reminder of how to keep your position in the road, the correct distance from the left-hand side of the curb. We've got those reference markers, which you can use, of course, to help you know where the curb should be, where the edge of the road should be. The one I'm pointing at the moment is the little white triangle, and that tells you when you're about a metre away from the left-hand side. For parking, you've got the square that tells you when you're about that far away from the left-hand side of the road. A metre is about that much. That's about the minimum you should be from the left-hand edge of the road, about half a metre. And that would be when the edge of the road is halfway between the triangle and the square. In other words, where this little black lump is, tiny little black lump, not the lump on the windscreen wiper, but the very small black lump there. And then you've got a third reference mark, which is this double vertical line. Looks like a pause symbol, two vertical white lines, a pause symbol on a DVD player. So think of them in terms of stop, which is the square, the symbol you might see on a DVD player to remind you how far the edge of the road should be when you stopped, and then a triangle meaning play for go when you're travelling along the road. But I'll also show you some other ways of working out how you can place the car in the road. So I've checked all around, it's safe to move out, continuing to look, got my wipers in the automatic setting, looking to see if my lights have come on because it's quite dull. I've just checked that they're in the auto position and they've just come on. It must be because I've just gone underneath the tree. Sometimes it takes a few seconds for them to come on. So here I've got no markings down the middle of the road, but I want to turn right. So I need to line my car up using a very small amount of steering with that pause symbol running down the centre of the road, and I'm letting my eyes glance to the curb both sides to help me work out where the middle of the road feels like it is. In the same way that here, waiting at this T-junction, I'm lining up my door mirror on my side with the curb that's on my right hand side to let me know when I've gone far enough out. Making the steering change very smoothly. Now, to know how far I am away from the edge of the road, I can use those reference marks on the windowsill, but I can also line up my seat with about 2/3 of the way out between the curb on that side and the white line that's on this side. So I'm looking down the road, probably about 6-8 car lengths away, where that parked white car is, where those pedestrians are. I'm looking to see where my seat would line up with 2/3 of the width of the road out from the left-hand edge, and that helps me know where to place the car, and my hands will follow where my eyes are looking. When you've got a wider piece of road, 2/3 of the way out is further over, but as it narrows again here, 2/3 of the way out is about where I am at the moment. A third way of knowing how far you are out from the edge is you can glance into your door mirrors and see if you've got about the same distance between your door handles and the curb on that side and the door handles and the centre of the road on this side. That's probably the least useful one to use, and that's why I mentioned it last. If you're unsure how much space you've got when you're going past a line of parked cars, you can glance into that one to give you an idea. But the best way is probably just to line up your seating position with about 2/3 of the way out in the free road space. So the free road space here is changing because of that parked silver car, but I'm still about 2/3 of the way out. And then I've come back to being closer to the curb again because there's no longer any obstructions, no more parked cars on the left hand side. So here I am doing about 28 miles an hour. The lights are still on, got an ambulance in front, so I check my centre mirror, cover the brake, check the right mirror to make sure it's safe to go further out around it. And there's a lot more activity and a lot less space here, so I'm going to slow down and come down to gear 3. Once again, checking the right mirror before I steer slightly out to the right to give myself a bit more space away from the silver van that had its hazard lights flashing. Slowing down nice and early, having checked the centre mirror, clutch down, easing off the brakes slightly because the slope of the road is going to make the car slow down. When it stops, squeezing the foot brake to hold it still until I get the handbrake on, and then checking what gear I've got. Even if this lever feels like it's all the way forwards, we've been travelling quite a long distance without changing gear, so it's unlikely I've been in gear 1 that whole time. It's probably gear 3, so that's why I took it out of gear, put it into neutral, and made sure I then placed it into the gear I would definitely need for moving away, which is going to be gear 1 going up this hill. Checking out left and right, looking at the faces of the pedestrians and also the driver that was waiting to turn across my path. Got a 20-mile-an-hour road here. It changed just before the traffic lights, and it's written on the road as well. I'm going to turn right, so in my lane I'm still sitting about 2/3 of the way across to the right. Lady on her phone, I've seen her walking up towards the edge of the road, but she was slowing down as she got there, so that gave me confidence to keep moving. Building my speed up, but I didn't see any speed signs at the junction. I can look in my centre mirror and confirm that there aren't any circular signs, any speed signs there, so I know it must be the same speed limit here that it was in the last road. The engine's comfortable enough, the gear lever's forward because it's my fingers that are making contact with the top of the gear lever, so it must be gear 3 even though it's grumbling a little bit, because I'm down at about 20 miles an hour, and that's roughly the minimum to travel in gear 3. I don't want to go through the roundabout at 20 miles an hour because I can't see a lot to the right, so I'm going to change down, and then I can move out doing about 12 miles an hour. So that's really it. I just wanted to illustrate the 3 ways in which you can work out how much space there is. The symbols at the bottom of the windscreen, the lining your seating position up with 2/3 of the way out from the left edge, and then also using your door mirrors to let you know how much space there is either side.